Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I'm Monica, and we're sort of like in the middle of my declutter series for 2023. We've already done face, and it was a long one, so I hope you guys enjoyed that if you watched it. But today, now we're going to be doing eyes, and I'm very excited for this one because I have been dying to go through my eyeshadows, especially, and just getting rid of the ones that are just not being used or I don't like. All of that good stuff. So today's video is going to cover all of eye stuff, which does include eyebrows, but I will say that the thing I'm most excited about, like I just said, is eyeshadow. So I'm very excited, and that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the eye makeup. All right, so it is time to declutter my eyeshadow palettes. They don't even all fit in this drawer. I have some over there and most of them in here, and it's weighing the drawer down so much. So let's section these off and start decluttering. Here are my eyeshadows. You can see I have way too many. I can't even get all of them in the shot together. So we're just gonna start up there and make our way down. So we're gonna start with big eyeshadow palettes. I really want to get rid of some of these because honestly, I'm not as into big eyeshadow palettes, so I wanna be selective with which ones I keep. That way, I'll probably keep more like singles and smaller palettes, but I'm really tired of like the big ones. Like I don't really travel with them very much, and so let's just go ahead and start. First, this one's still in its box because it costs $128, so I really want to be careful with it. But this is the Pat McGrath Mothership Subliminal palette. I think this is #1, and hopefully you can see it, but it's just like this, and that was so professional. But I am going to keep this one, and I'm going to put it back in its little box because, like I said, it's expensive, and I want to keep it as safe as possible. Next, we've got the Stone Cold Fox palette. This is from ColourPop. This is actually a favorite. Back in 2021, I love cool tone neutrals. I feel like I'm not close enough to the camera. Let's see, I'm going to have to like drag myself. But anyway, this, I love it, but I don't use it that much anymore because it's so big. So I'm going to declutter it, and I think I have a couple of other cool toned palettes or shades in here that I'll keep instead, and I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Feels good to say, honestly, even though it's a favorite. That's the thing, is sometimes declutters aren't all about like just, you know, ditching the ones that you don't like. Sometimes it's about being reasonable, and to be honest, I just don't reach for like big old palettes anymore. So I've got the ColourPop Your Golden palette. This one is really cool. I love some of the shades in here. Like, I think it's very summery and pretty. I use this even less than the Stone Cold Fox, so I'm gonna get rid of this one too and let somebody else use it. I just don't reach for the big palettes, and so I'm gonna get rid of that one. A bigger palette I am gonna keep is this one from Michaela and Glamlight because it has colors in it, and this is the only one that I really have colors in. I do think that this palette is really great, so I'm gonna keep this one. Here's the Jaclyn Cosmetics like palette she did with her mom. I actually really love this palette. I like it way more than I liked the like Jaclyn Hill Morphe collaboration palettes. I just think that it's so nice and approachable, and I love that about it. And it keeps pretty neutral. Like, there are some cool tones, there are some warmer ones, but it's not straight up warm or cool. And there's a lot of different looks you can do here, and I really like the way these perform. So I am gonna keep this one. I do wish, like, why she is a makeup artist, why doesn't she ever put mirrors in her palettes? All right, so then I've got the BH Cosmetics Hangin' in Hawaii palette. This one I used during my wedding, and I really do love it. I have a hard time separating with this because of that. I haven't used it in a really long time. Like, a really, really long time. Definitely, I have not used it since my last declutter, so I'm gonna say goodbye. All right, so then I've got the Pacifica Magic, what is this? Magic Kingdom? Animal Magic. This is the this is the Pacifica Animal Magic palette. This has some really pretty colors. I just don't find myself reaching for it very much. Like, it's not that it's bad or anything, but it's kind of flimsy. It's like $25, and I just have other palettes I prefer over it, or I reach for over it, so I'm gonna declutter this one. One that I probably will never declutter is the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. I know you can't get it. It probably will expire at some point, but I love Tati, and I really do enjoy this palette, so I'm gonna keep it because it's beautiful. And you can't get it anymore, which is so sad. Maybe she'll pull a Taylor Swift and come out with it like under a different name or something. One that's a definite goner is this Sunkissed Glow palette from LA Girl. This is horrific. I can't even open this. The formulation of these shadows is abysmal. I don't like them. The sparkly, like the glitters are chunky, the mattes are patchy. It's everything that could be wrong with the palette, and I had such high hopes, so we're saying goodbye. So then I've got this Vive the 90s palette from Vive Cosmetics, Jamie Genevieve's brand. Love this. One of my favorites, to be honest. I just love it's grungy, it's 90s, hence the name. I love the cool tone neutrals, and I don't know if I'd ever give it up, so we're keeping it. So then I've got the Lorac Meraki palette. This one I love. It's one of my all-time favorite high-end palettes. I talk about it every single time the Ulta sale comes around because it's so good. Perfect neutrals. You got a little bit of mauve going on, a little bit of purpley, but also you're just sticking with your basic neutrals, and I love this palette, so I'm definitely keeping this one. This is the Persona Identity palette. This one is really nice as well. I think it's really pretty. I haven't played with it a ton, so I do want to keep it to play with it, but don't you worry, we're going to be decluttering more here in a second. But I do think it's really pretty. Like, the color story is really pretty, and so I want to play with it more. Kelly Gooch talks about it, or has talked about it quite a lot, so I want to see what all the fuss is about. So then we got these Tarte, they were like in a duo for the holidays, the gilded ones. This is, or the whatever, the 2-set one, this is gilded. I'm actually going to declutter both of these, and here's the reason why. I think they are pretty. I actually prefer this one over this one, which is interesting because this one is the neutral one. But I don't really reach for them, and the glitters in here are very glittery, and sometimes, like on a day-to-day basis, I want a more subtle glitter, and if I want something a little bit more punchy, I reach for other palettes. So I'm going to declutter both of these. They're still in great condition. They're practically brand new, but I don't need them. This one is the Essence Blooming Wings palette. This one is hard because I do think that the formula is good, but I have other palettes, including drugstore palettes, that I prefer over this one and that I reach for over this one. So even though I don't necessarily want to, like I'm not dying to give away this palette, I think I'm going to because I need to be reasonable, and I have other palettes that obviously cover this color story that I prefer the formula of. So we're decluttering this one. It was short-lived, but I do think it's really good, just in case you're wondering. Just because I get rid of a palette, it doesn't necessarily mean I don't like it. It just means that I need to be reasonable. So we've got these Alter Ego palettes. I've got the Goddess palette, which is, you know, very warm neutral, supposed to be duping the Huda Beauty, whichever one, not the Huda Beauty, sorry, the Natasha Denona, whatever one, I can't remember the name of it. I haven't used this in a really long time though. It pulls more, a little bit warmer, so I'm gonna declutter this one. And this one is the Shadow Kiss palette, and this is duping the Natasha Denona, the Glam palette, and I love Alter Ego shadows, and I do really like this color story, and I feel like this is like the Stone Cold Fox palette, kind of, you know, a smaller version of that. So I'm going to keep this one because I do use this one and enjoy this one. Alright, so then we've got this MAC Artistry palette. This is a neutral palette. This was the first time I've ever tried MAC shadows, and I really enjoy this palette, and I don't want to get rid of it right now. I do use it quite a lot, so I'm going to keep it because as long as I use it, that's good enough for me to keep. It's the ones that I say I like, and I do like, that I don't use very much that I need to get rid of. So this is one of the drugstore palettes, or one of the palettes in general, that just is amazing to me. It's the Always Naked palette from Wet n Wild, and it touches all of your neutrals. You've got like this in here. It's like this metallic. It's terrible. Just ignore that. Every other shade in here though is wonderful. My go-to shades are of course this one and this one, because, you know, it's neutral. So this one you can get on Amazon, and that's the cheapest place you can get it and the place that you can find it the most. So that's where I would go. They also have like a rosier version of this if you're more into that. But I'm definitely going to keep this one. Let's go ahead and get this one over with. If you've watched my channel all, you know how I feel about this. This is the Nudes of New York palette from Maybelline. I think it's underrated now. I think it was appropriately rated when it first came out, but now I don't think enough people talk about it. It's like my favorite palette of all time. And every time I use it, I wonder why I ever bother using any other eyeshadow, which you're probably wondering, well, then why are you keeping any eyeshadow? And I don't really have a reason for you, but this one is great. Definitely keeping that one. We've got the Hard Candy Naked and Famous. This one I talked about recently in a speed reviews video, actually alongside the Blooming Wings one that I just talked about from Essence. And I like both of them, but I've also mentioned that I preferred the Nudes of New York one that I just talked about to both of them. So I'm going to declutter this one too, because although I think it's good, I don't think I need this one. So then we've got the e.l.f. The New Classics palette. This one is the original one that I got. This is a great palette, honestly. Sometimes I forget about it because I always use the Nudes of New York if I'm using a drugstore one, or the Wet n Wild one now. This one is great. I wanted to clutter it and like actually throw it away because it's very, very old, but I do want to replace it because it's like $10. No, $14. I don't know why I thought it was $10. and it's beautiful. It touches all your neutrals, hits some rosiness. You've got a nice black, like a matte black, matte browns. Like, this is beautiful. I'm going to declutter this one and throw it away because it's old, and then I'm going to replace it because it is a beautiful palette. We've got this. This is like a cheek and eye thing, like palette from Tarte. I never know where to put these, so I always put them in the eyes portion. I actually bought this because I had to spend $100 at Ulta one time because I was taking something back that was out of warranty, but the store was like, it's ridiculous that it broke like that. It was a hair dryer, and so they gave me $100 to spend, and I spent it on the spot because I had to. And this was one of the things I picked up. I think it's fine, but I never find myself reaching for it. The highlighter is like, it looks okay on a swatch, but it's so like chunky, and I don't ever use this. So we're decluttering it. Let's talk about some Sigma palettes. First, I want to talk about the New Mod palette because it's the biggest one I've got. Oopsies. I will say the brushes that come in the Sigma palettes are actually pretty good. This one I'm keeping. It's beautiful. It's got rosy tones, but I'm obsessed with this shade, Avant-Garde, and I wear this quite often actually, and so I'm definitely going to keep this. I really do like Sigma's eyeshadow formula. Then I've got minis. We've got the 9-pan one. This is Ivy, and I'm going to keep this one too because I really love this, and I truly use every single one of these shades at some point or another, and it's got your basic neutrals and pops of color, and I think it's beautiful, so I'm going to keep that one. And then we've got the Norm Neutrals. This is like the little one, and I love this one. I use it quite a lot as well, so I'm going to keep this one. But the one I'm going to get rid of is Enchanted. This one, Kelly Gooch did like a collab with Sigma, and that's when I got this one. I never reach for this. I think it's pretty, but honestly, the fact that this is your crease shade and there's no like sparkly shades that are lighter than that, I don't like that. So I don't find this to be a very usable palette for me. So I don't really reach for it very much. So I'm going to declutter it. Let's do Anastasia. So this is the Rose Metals palette, and it's beautiful, very kind of like almost grungy. I'm going to keep it. Love Anastasia's eyeshadow formula. It's so blendable, so pigmented. There's a little bit of fallout, but it's nothing too bad, especially with their newer palettes like these. And this is the Nouveau palette. I absolutely love this purple shade. I like to play with it. It's like a matte purple. And then there are other shades in here that are super wearable, like these. And then you can add like pops of color. So keeping both of those because I really do love them. We've got this BK Beauty True Beauty eyeshadow palette. This one I keep trying to like, but I don't find it very easy to work with, which kind of sucks because as you can see, it's a nice neutral palette with some pops of purple or whatever. But to be honest, I don't ever, like, I'm never able to actually get it to work the way I want to. I find it to be a little patchy, so I'm going to declutter this. Scented Every Night eyeshadow palette. I recently talked about this in our speed reviews, and I love this. They have an everyday one too, but this is the one I picked because I thought it would be easier to, like, I don't know, use. I love the format. It's so pretty. I love the mattes in here. They're so blendable. I love the shimmers. They're so pigmented without being like overly glittery. I love wearing this on an everyday basis. Ironically, not just an every night basis. So I'm going to keep this one. These are the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes palettes. First I've got the larger one, this one, and then I've got the Quickie, which is this one. I'm going to be honest with you. I swear sometimes I black out when I buy eyeshadow palettes, and then I get them and I'm like, these aren't quite what I was expecting. So neither of these have exactly what I'm looking for in nude palettes, and I'm not in love with the formula of this. I don't know if it's just Artist Couture overall or if it's just these two palettes, but I'm just not in love with the formulas of these shadows. So I'm gonna declutter both of them. Okay, so this is the Coffee Talk palette from Sydney Grace. This is like a smaller indie brand. I thought this was so pretty. It's like, it's neutral, but it really is cool tone, and I really like it for like the fall and stuff, and I do enjoy it. I like the fact that it's from a smaller brand. I like supporting indie, and I like the fact that it's called Coffee Talk. I think that's really cute, so I'm gonna keep this. All right, so let's talk about these together because I mentioned how they're kind of similar. This is the Lawless the Winter Beach palette. You think that would be so pretty, right? It is pretty in the pan. It's so hard to work with. Then the better version of that is the Melt Cosmetics Zodiac palette, the water one. This one is like what this one wants to be. The colors are very, very similar, but I actually find that this one, not only is it easier to work with, but it's a little bit more wearable because this is a lighter crease shade, which I would use on an everyday basis. So I don't get the Lawless eyeshadow formula. I think it's like chunky and weird, and the mattes are very hard to blend. So I'm getting rid of this one. It's not my favorite at all. and I'm keeping this one. I love this. So let's talk about some Sephora palettes. First, we've got the Wishing You palette, which was limited edition, and I hate that Sephora always gets like rid of palettes. I've bought this thinking there would be a couple of lighter shades, and there's really not, and so I don't reach for this a ton. It was only like $10, so it's not like it was a bad price or anything, but I just don't reach for it very much, so I'm gonna declutter this one. It's barely been touched, so whoever gets it next is gonna be one lucky person. And then I've got this I Love palette, which I've had forever, and I do really like, and I've been debating, do I want to get rid of it? I think that this has been discontinued in this format. You know what? I don't want that to stop me though. I think I'm gonna keep this one because I genuinely like it and I enjoy using it. Unfortunately, I don't know why they always discontinue things. This one's also been discontinued, but this one I didn't love. Like, I like the concept, I like the idea behind it, but I didn't love the execution. So I'm going to declutter this one. Let's talk about the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. I absolutely love this. I wore it for the Taylor Swift concerts I went to recently, and they're beautiful. This is the most beautiful, beautiful palette ever. I'm obsessed with it. I hate that he's made it limited edition, and I'm pretty sure it's completely sold out and will not be coming back because this is so gorgeous. I love the shimmers, like they're like a wash, but you can also build them up to be such a wearable glitter. So I love this. I would never declutter this. So this one I saw on Amazon. It's from the brand Aquamel. I don't really know how to pronounce this, but I saw it and I was like, that looks like a mini version of the Makeup by Mario one, and so I got it, and I really, really like it. It's so easy to wear. Like, I wear these two on a daily basis, and then you got this pretty shimmer, and it's like so sparkly and just like a wash, just like the Makeup by Mario ones, and so I love this. And like I said, I'm really into like smaller palettes now, except for like a select few of the larger ones. But this one is one of my new favorites. This is the Ilia The Necessities palette. I would never declutter this. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. It's so beautiful and easy to use. I use it quite often. These are my two favorite shades, and then you get a little bit warmer and you can play with these down here. I often use this dark brown one for liner, but this is the most beautiful like formula. It's very similar to the Maybelline Nudes of New York formula, but I think, isn't it Ilia Clean? It's cleaner. And it's a little bit of a smaller palette, so I like to use this and travel with it and stuff like that. So let's talk about some Tarte palettes. I actually have these a little out of order, so let's see. We've got the Maneater palette. I'm not going to get rid of this because I love this palette. First of all, I love the smell of Tarte's eyeshadows. That sounds weird, but I do. And this is beautiful. I love the formula. I love the shimmers. I think it creates the most beautiful eye look, so I'm going to keep this. I don't know if that's discontinued or not, to be honest, but I do know that the Power Bar one is discontinued, but I don't want to get rid of it because I really like it and I still use it quite a lot, and I don't know why it was discontinued. Then we have Tartelette in Bloom. I'm gonna be honest with you, out of all the Tarte palettes that I have, this is the one I've used the least. I thought it was gonna interest me more, but I figured out that in my mind there's not enough of a transition shade that's like between this shade, and then the lightest shade is this one, which pulls pretty gold. So I'm gonna declutter this one. I think it's pretty, but I'm not drawn to it. The Ulta Beauty Everyday Faves palette is one of my favorites. I think it's so underrated, but it's the prettiest formula. It's so easy to work with. And as you can see, a neutral palette, which I love. So I'm gonna keep this one. All right, this one I'm finally gonna get rid of because I'm pretty sure it's bad. I've had it since like, I don't even want to tell you, like what, 2017? This is such a loss. Like, why would Milani ever discontinue these eyeshadows? This was their prime. I like a few of their eyeshadows now, but none of the like bigger palettes. And so I'm gonna say goodbye to this one because it's expired, but I will miss it. And I hate that they discontinued because it's a perfect color story. So then we've got these two Milani palettes. We've got Whiskey Business. These are their new Gilded Mini palettes, and this is in Whiskey Business, which is beautiful. It's an all matte palette. And then I have it in the Wine Down. And this one over here is so crumbly. So I like this palette. I don't know what to do because I really like this palette minus the crumbliness of this eyeshadow. I think I'm going to keep both of them for now because they're still pretty new to me, and if by the next declutter I'm like, I haven't used this one because of that crumbly eyeshadow, we're going to get rid of it. Then I've got the LA Girl, the Nudist palette. I really like this palette, but I have plenty of drugstore nude palettes, like neutral palettes, so I don't really feel like I need to keep this, so I'm going to declutter it. Let's just go ahead and do this one. It's one of those like face/eye palettes again. So This, I hate that e.l.f. only did a limited collection with this because it's their most durable packaging and it's so pretty. And I really like this. This was the collab with Jen Atkins, I think. Yeah. The hairdresser, I think is what she is, from like 3 years back, 2 or 3 years back. And I think it's really pretty. But I'm going to declutter it because I have I Love You a Latte, like their mini palette, and it's pretty much the same colors up here, and this is, it's kind of old, and I haven't used it in a while, so I'm going to declutter this. Keep I Love You a Latte. I know we're kind of all over the place for a second. And this is pumpkin spice. I don't know why I bought this. It's so dark. I would never wear this because it's too dark for like every day, and there's no like lighter shades to work with. I'm going to get rid of this too. It's never been opened. Let's do these Essence eyeshadow palettes. We've got Nude. Nothing compares to Nude. I can't get this open with all these in my hand. This is beautiful. I don't want to get rid of it because it's nude, so I'm gonna keep that one. My Rose Will Go On. This one I think I actually am gonna get rid of. I recently got it, but out of all the ones I have, I use it the least, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. Taupe It Up is one of my favorites, so I would never get rid of this one. So pretty. And let's see, I like to Mob It. I don't want to get rid of this one yet. I think it's really pretty, so I'm going to keep that one. Let's talk about something I am going to get rid of. We're kind of all over the board here, but we're moving. We're moving, okay. This is the Maybelline Shadow Brick in, what is this? North 3rd Bedford Avenue. I had such high hopes for this, and then I tried it, and it sucked. Like, it's patchy, it's not blendable, it's terrible. Move on. So this is the Smashbox Cover Shot Minimalist Eye Palette. I know that Smashbox is kind of like going downward, like they're not as interesting, but I really like this palette because it's got like cooler tones and then warmer tones and then like a mixture of everything. And I use this quite a lot still, so I'm going to keep this one. Then I've got this NARS Suede palette. They don't even sell this anymore. I looked it up and I'm pretty sure it's discontinued, which is fine for me. I mean, like, I tried it because I've heard Jessica Braun talk about it, but when I got it, it was not quite what I was expecting, like color-wise, and so I think I've used it once. And the eyeshadow formula was just like fine, like I wasn't like shocked and amazed by it, so I'm gonna declutter this. I've got this Mellow eyeshadow palette in Athena. I saw Tati talking about this recently and just purchased it, same sort of format as, you know, like the Charlotte Tilbury ones. I really like this, and so I'm going to keep it because I've been using it quite a lot. So let's talk about Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk real quick. I've got 3 different dupes for it. This is the original, okay? This is the dupe I compared it to in my dupes video. This is the CoverGirl, the clean color in Dreamy Pink. This is the other one I compared it to, where it's a cleaner formula. This is from Mineral Fusion, and this is like one from Makeup Revolution I've had for years, even before the Charlotte Tilbury one. So I need to get rid of some. I want to keep this one because it's so expensive and I spent my own money on it, and I don't really want to get rid of it because it's like a decent formula. So I'm going to keep this one for sure. I love this eyeshadow formula. So I'm going to keep this one, even though they're the same. And you know what? I'm going to part ways with the Mineral Fusion one and the Makeup Revolution one because I don't need that many of the same shade range. All right, let's do these other 2 clean color ones from CoverGirl. I don't want to get rid of either one of these because I love this formula so much. This is in the shade Shimmering Beige, and this is in Cool Berry. I use all of them quite a lot, so I'm going to keep those for now. All right, so I moved these up a bit. So this is an Inglot palette. I actually made it in New York City, and I've been using it quite a lot. They didn't have one of the shades I wanted over, I don't remember, I think it was this one that replaced the other one. I had another shade that they didn't have. I had another shade in mind that they didn't have in store, is what I'm trying to say. But I do like the formula, and I'm going to keep using it as of right now. So then I've got this Maybelline The City Mini Palette. This one I actually really enjoy. I love the formula, and I think that this shimmer is so pretty and works with the whole like eyeshadow palette. And I love using this like as liner, so I'm gonna keep that because I still use it. And this is the CoverGirl, this one's like beat up, CoverGirl True Naked in Jet Setter. I got this as a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury one that's like, what is it, like Rock something, Rock Chick? I'll put the name of it on the screen. And it is a dupe for that, but I don't really use these colors very much anymore, and so I haven't used it since my last declutter, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it. This is the Milani Eyeshadow Duo in BFF. I always keep this one, and it's so funny because it always gets buried, but every time I pull it out, I love the way it performs on my eyes, so I do want to keep it. But if for some reason by the next declutter I haven't used this one, I will give it away. So this one is a ColourPop one that apparently got a little damaged. Like, so this one, like, there's a whole shadow coming out, if you can kind of see. I don't want to take it out because it's gonna like dump. But this is in Cream Soda. I'm gonna get rid of it because it's falling apart. I like the formula of it, but I have found that a lot of times I find ColourPop's shimmer formula to be too shimmery for every day. So this is the Romand. It's a Korean or Japanese brand, I think. I think this is really pretty. It wasn't quite what I was expecting. It was like $30, I think, and I very rarely use it. So I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't think it's bad or anything. e.l.f. always releases these things that I really like, and they're always limited edition. This is the Cookies and Dream palette, and I love this palette. It's got neutrals, it's got pops of color, it's beautiful, and I use it quite a bit still. So I'm gonna keep it even though like it's, you know, discontinued. Another one that's discontinued that I think released and then discontinued pretty quickly, which is a little alarming, is the Sweet and Shimmer eyeshadow palette. This was actually a stocking stuffer that I asked for, and I really like it. I use it a lot. I think it's really pretty. If I hear anything about the ingredients or something, or as to why it was discontinued and there were like real reasons that could be bad for me or something, I'll delete it. No, I'll declutter it. But for now, I really do enjoy it. So let's talk about this Beauty Counter one. This was a gift or a part of a gift, and I know Beauty Counter is an MLM, so I'm not really big into MLMs. And I don't use this very much because the color story doesn't really go together. So I'm gonna get rid of it. So then we have the M Cosmetics Divine Skies palette in Rodin. I love this, couldn't love it more, and don't want to get rid of it because it's beautiful and I use it quite a lot, so we're keeping that one. This is the very famous Infallible eyeshadow in Amber Rush, and I love this as a one and done eyeshadow. Then I have the same eyeshadow formula in Ice Latte, and I love this all over the lid. Use these quite a bit, to be honest, so gonna keep those. This is the Kaja like stackable trio, and this is in the shade or the range Chocolate Dahlia. I use this quite a bit and love it, so I'm gonna keep this as well. Then this is it's like a cream to powder eyeshadow formula from M Cosmetics, and it is beautiful. Like, I'm obsessed, so I'm gonna keep this. I probably won't use it very much right now because it definitely pulls like cooler toned silvery, and it's something I use more in like the winter. I've got this LA Girl, no, I'm sorry, it's not even that. It's LA Colors Shimmering Loose Eyeshadow with a brush. I thought this would be a great like thing from Dollar Tree. I was like, oh, you can, no, it's terrible. So I'm gonna declutter it. There's sparkle all over my hands if you can see that. So then I have the e.l.f. No Budge Cream Eyeshadows. I bought these and I had such high hopes because I love the cream eyeshadow sticks. And these suck. These are terrible. They probably couldn't be more terrible. They're stiff, they don't move, they're terrible, they're patchy, we're getting rid of them. So let's go ahead actually and talk about those real quick, the e.l.f. No Budge eyeshadow sticks, because I do really like them, and I want to go ahead and tell you that I'll be keeping both of these because I think they're beautiful and they work so well. This is the About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paint. I love to put this on my eyelid as like one and done, like, oh, you have some dimension to your eyes, but I didn't really work that hard. This is great. I almost wish they had it in like a nude color so I could use it like as my eye base sometimes. I do just love using it as like a standalone eyeshadow. Then we've got the About Face Fractal Eye Paint. I really enjoy this. I think that it's like kind of a waste of packaging because like all you need is that, because the rest of it's just, you know, for show. But it's definitely punchy. It is not for the faint-hearted. This is punchy, and I really do like whipping it out when I want a little bit of or a lot of bit of punch. So this is the, I'm kind of going out of order because I realized that when I like set these up that they weren't exactly in order. This is the e.l.f. Cosmetics, like, you know, the liquid eyeshadow. These are a little too chunky for me. They are dupes for like the Sigma one, They are dupes, is that right? No, Stila. They are dupes for the Stila ones, but I don't like the chunkiness of it, so I'm gonna get rid of it. This is the Ulta Beauty Tinted Eye Primer, and it's funny because I don't use it as like an eye primer because it's tinted and it's beautiful. It's like the champagne taupey color, almost like a light taupe, and I think it is so beautiful on the lid and I love it. I also love the regular matte eye primer, so I'm gonna keep that. All right, so now we have the Supergoop Cream Eyeshadow. I really like this and I think it's pretty underrated, to be honest. It's got SPF in it. It goes on beautifully. It works well with both powder and other cream eyeshadows. So I'm definitely gonna keep this. These are the L'Oreal Brilliant Eyes cream eyeshadows. These are my favorite cream eyeshadow formula because they're an everyday shimmer, like a wash of color. And this one just recently joined that ranking as well. This is the Wet n Wild Shadow Silk Liquid Eyeshadow. These are all so beautiful, and they're not super like chunky or glittery. They're just shimmery and beautiful, and I'm keeping all of them because I love them. So these are the CoverGirl Exhibitionist eye paints. I actually really enjoy these, and I don't think that a whole lot of people know / talk about them. They're great. If you've never tried them, I would definitely recommend them, and I'm gonna keep them. So I've got these AF4 shadow box sticks. This is in, what is this in? 01 Thrift Shopper, and it's like this dark shade. And then I also have this shimmer shade, which is beautiful, and this is in Sweet and Low. So these are really pretty. I have really been enjoying them, so I'm gonna keep them. All right, so here are all the rest of my eye stuff. We've got like eye primers, eyeliners, mascara primers, mascaras, and then brow stuff. So let's go ahead and go through this. So we've got some paint pots. First, we've got the paint pot in Soft Ochre, which is like a more like yellowy shade. And then I've got the dupe for it, which I'm pretty sure is discontinued, but it's from ColourPop. And it's literally the exact same shade, but these don't really match my skin tone very well, so I rarely am using them. So I'm going to declutter both of these since they've barely been used. But I'm going to keep the paint pot in, what is this? Painterly, and the dupe from ColourPop as well I'm going to keep, which is in the shade Laurel. This one I've really hit pan on, like I've really done some damage to that. So I'm gonna keep both of those. Then one of my favorite eye primers that I'm actually currently using right now is this Sigma eyeshadow base primer. This is in, I think, what shade is this in? Persuade. It's perfect. It's very similar to like the color of Painterly and Laurel that I just showed you, but it's in a stick version. It's super easy to use, so of course I'm gonna keep this. Then I've got the Milani eyeshadow primer, which I really like, but to be honest, I don't reach for it very much because I like the other ones better, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass this along because it's barely been touched. Like I said in my eyeshadow portion, I love the matte eye primer from Ulta Beauty, and I can consider this more of an eye primer that I use, whereas the like illuminating one that I showed you earlier, like the tinted one, I use as like a cream eyeshadow. So this one is great though. It does a perfect job of like neutralizing your eyes and has the most perfect undertone for me when I'm like my fairest shade. This is the Flower Beauty Forever Wear Eyeliner. I love to use this on my lower waterline to brighten up my eyes, so I'm gonna keep this. We've got some L'Oreal Liner signatures. I've got the brown one and the black one, and then a backup for the black one. I'm gonna keep all of these, but I did want to shout out, I actually already talked about this in my dupes video. These three are the same. This is the L'Oreal Liner one, this is the Makeup by Mario one, which of course these two are dupes for, and this is the Sephora Colorful Eyeliner. This is in Tiramisu, this this one is in Brown Denim, the L'Oreal one, and then this one is in the Perfect Brown. I'm keeping all of these because I'm really into brown eyeliners right now, especially on my upper waterline and tight lining on the like upper lash line, and I love them. So we're just gonna keep these. Then I've also got this brown eyeliner from AF Beauty, and I like this one, but it transfers a little bit more than the other ones, and I already have so many brown eyeliners right now, and I barely use this one, and I want somebody to, you know, be able to use it before it like goes bad or something. So I'm gonna declutter that one. So then, like I said, I love these Sephora colorful eyeliners, so much so to where I also got a nude color that I haven't even popped open yet. This is Coconut. And then I also have Fresh Mint. I'm going to be keeping these two. And I've got this one from Mally Beauty. It's just a black one. It's a nice black, but I already have black eyeliners that I like, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one so somebody else can use it and enjoy it. And these two are also dupes for each other. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Walk of Shame eyeliner, and this is what that one looks like a burgundy. And then the dupe I have for it is from Maybelline. It's the Lasting Drama Matte eyeliner, and they're very, very similar in color. I need to pick one, and okay, I think I'm gonna keep the Charlotte Tilbury one because these are both great. Neither one of them transfer, but I don't really use red eyeliner very much, so I want to keep one to have on hand because I do use it occasionally, but unlike brown, I don't use it all the time, so I'm just gonna keep one. So though I think these are the same, I'm gonna keep the more expensive one and give this one away. Then I have the Haus Labs liquid eyeliner that like is from like Amazon. I don't use liquid eyeliner a ton. I think this is good, but it's got a felt tip and I prefer a brush tip, and so I'm gonna pass this along. Then I've got two of the Maybelline Hyper Easy eyeliners. I don't use liquid eyeliner very much, but when I do, this is what I use. This one is drying out, so I'm gonna declutter the one that's been opened. and I'm gonna keep the new one. This is a great liquid eyeliner, in case you're wondering. It's got a very thin brush tip, which I love. Then I've got this Cosmetics liquid eyeliner. I think this was free with purchase. It's very Sharpie-like, in that it's got like the felt tip and everything. I don't really use this one at all. I don't think it's bad or anything, but I'm gonna get rid of it. So then I've got this one from CoverGirl. It's the Exhibitionist Lash Enhancing Liquid Eyeliner. Also a felt tip, also one I never use, so I'm gonna give it away. Do I even have anything in here? This is the Lash Paradise, like, it's like a rose gold one. No, there's like basically nothing in here. I'm actually gonna put this in my empties because I enjoyed it. I don't even think you can see what I'm pointing at, but I enjoyed it while I had it. It's very old though, so I'm gonna put it in my empties and we'll see if I ever repurchase it again. I went through a phase where I like to like wear eyeliner like in my crease on my lid. Obviously these are the same. This is my favorite lower lash line mascara, so I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna finish this one up, put it in my empties, which I'm almost done with, and then I'm gonna open this one up. So I'm gonna keep that one. So then this is the Lottie London Super Fake Mascara. I haven't tried this at all, and what? That's the tiniest bristled brush. I'm very interested to try this. Like I said, literally haven't opened it at all, so I'm gonna try that out. Then I have the Maybelline Sky High Lash Primer. I know a lot of people like this. I don't think it's anything special. I prefer the mascara over this, and I prefer my other lash primer more. Then I've got the L'Oreal Voluminous Primer, which is my favorite eyelash primer. It's great. It holds onto your mascara, it maximizes your lashes. It's perfect, and I love it, and I've used it for so long, and I'm gonna keep it and continue purchasing it. So then I've got 3 of the L'Oreal Voluminous Original mascaras in like the shade Burgundy and Deep Green. I have these 2, which are already opened, which I've been loving, and my friend Melissa actually got me this one, so I'll be opening this one soon after I get done with the green one. Then we've got these 2 mascaras, which are actually the same. This is the Tower 28 mascara. It's very popular. Everybody really likes it. And I talked about it in my dupes video. The dupe for it is the CoverGirl Clump Crusher. I think I did a better job showing that wand. I'm going to keep both of these because they're both opened, and I do enjoy them. I don't think I would repurchase either one of them because my favorite is the Rare Beauty mascara. So then I've got the Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions and the Milani Highly Rated Lash Extensions mascara. These are also the same. Talked about them in my dupes video. I don't like either one of them. I don't like the Thrive one. I just talked about it in my dupes video because I know a lot of people do. The Milani one is exactly the same to me. A lot of people have said that they're not the same, but they are to me. They are the exact same. So if you want to try this one, or if you usually use this one and you don't want to spend that much money on it, try this one. But for me, I don't like either one of them, so I'm going to declutter them. Here's the deal about this mascara. I think the formula is good. I think the brush is terrible. I've been using it for about 2 months now, so I'm going to continue using it until it's dried up, and I'm never going to purchase it again because the wand pokes me in the eye so hard it makes my eyes water, gets all over my contact lenses. It's quite a mess. So the controversial mascara is just not my favorite, but I'm just about done with it, and so I'll finish it up, but I don't like it. All right, so this is the Pacifica Vegan Collagen Fluffy Lash. This one, Kelly Gooch talked about a little bit last year. I should have known better. When I got the wand, I was like, oh, I don't think I like that very much. I was right. I do not like this very much. So I'm gonna declutter it. It's very nice packaging though. I'm pretty sure this is like glass or hard plastic. And I've got this mascara from Cosmetics. I have not used this since I opened it. I just think it's kind of mediocre. I will probably just throw this away because it's kind of like old. I think it's like a year old, and I don't want people to be using that. So actually the About Face mascara is one of my favorites for being a rubberized wand. I think it's really, really good. I don't love it better than my Rare Beauty one, but it is definitely like in second place. I think it's really, really good. So I'm gonna be keeping that. I wanna declutter some of these minis that I have. First, I'm gonna declutter this one because it's never been opened. I think the Big Mood is good, but it kind of smudges everywhere on me, so I'm gonna let somebody else try that. The e.l.f. Lash Beats mascara, I haven't been using very much ever, so I'm gonna declutter that. Then I have the Lash It Loud one in like the bigger packaging, which still has some life to it, so I'm gonna keep that because it's my favorite e.l.f. mascara, and I'm gonna get rid of it in its mini version so somebody else can use it. Then I've got this Relove Power Lash Volume Mascara. This one is just about empty. It runs so dry so fast, so I'm gonna keep this one, finish it up, but I don't know if I would repurchase it because of that, and I have to work so hard to keep the moisture in it. So I'm gonna keep it, and then, well, I'll put it in my empties, and I probably won't repurchase it. So this is the L'Oreal Voluminous Noir Balm Mascara. I had such high hopes. I thought this was going to be so fluffy and soft, and it's just not. It's not a very good mascara, and it's old. I'm going to throw it away. The Maybelline Sky High Mascara is a very polarizing product. People either love it or hate it. I'm one of the people who loves it. I think it's great, and so I'm gonna keep it. This is the Tarte Maneater mascara. It's one of the best high-end mascaras in my opinion. It's not my favorite in comparison to like the Rare Beauty one, but it is really good. So I'm gonna finish this one up. I don't know if I'd repurchase it because I do love the Rare Beauty one. And then I have it in a mini version that I'm gonna declutter because, you know, I have people in my life who would probably love to have a mini. So this one I had such high hopes for. This is the Maybelline Green Edition Mega Mousse Mascara, and I thought it was going to be just so fluffy and beautiful, and it's really just a terrible formula. Like, this is possibly the worst Maybelline mascara I have ever tried. And that's saying something because Maybelline mascara is known for being like good mascara. So I'm going to get rid of that. The Rare Beauty mascara. I'm not decluttering this. It's my favorite mascara. There's really not much to say. Perfect length, perfect volume, perfect everything. I have this Maybelline Sky High Mini. I should have included it earlier with the other one. I'm going to declutter this so somebody else can try it out and maybe like it. This is the Milani Highly Rated Anti-Gravity Mascara, Anti-Gravity Mascara. I think I'm actually going to keep this and try this out because I've heard good reviews and kind of mixed reviews about this, but I want to give it a try. Then I'm going to keep both of these. These are the CoverGirl micro eyebrow pencils, and this one's just about done. And this is backup. This is my favorite eyebrow pencil. Then I have the Uoma by Sharon C. This is an eyebrow pencil and a gel, and I actually really like this. I actually forgot I even had this. I need to, it's almost done too. It's like literally on the very cusp of being done. So I'm going to keep this, finish it up. Probably wouldn't repurchase it because I love the CoverGirl one so much, but it is a really good high-end one. This is, by the way, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Sheet. It is one of their better products, but I can't believe I haven't finished it up yet. So this is the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. This is the old packaging, and this is actually like empty. So I'm just gonna declutter that. Not declutter, I'm gonna put it in my empties bin. I probably won't buy it again because I like the e.l.f. Wow Brow better, which I'm just about to talk about. And I have one here and a backup, so I'm obviously not getting rid of these. These are great. Then I have the e.l.f. Bite Size Brow Palette. This isn't even the right shade, which is why it's not open. But I just thought that these were okay, so to be honest, like, I don't know if I would recommend them. But who knows, maybe somebody else will like them. So this is the e.l.f. and Jen Adkin, like, brow thing. It's got a very particular wand. I haven't used this in over a year, so I'm gonna throw it away. And then I have the NYX Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. The wand on this is preposterous. And the color, this is in blonde, cool blonde. It's a little too dark, so it makes me look a little funny. Then I've got the She Glam Eyebrow Cream. This is old and pretty dried up, so I'm gonna include that in an empties video too, because I don't even think there's anything left. Then I've got the Merit Eyebrow thing. I don't really love the size of this. I think the length of the spoolie is good, but the size is a little bulky and the color's a little bit too dark for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if somebody else can use that. Then I've got the Wet n Wild Brow Obsessive. This one's really red, which is odd, but it's pretty red, so I'm gonna declutter that because it does not work for me at all. I've got the Grande Brow Fill Volumizing Brow Gel. This one, it's got the weirdest spoolie, if you can sort of see. It's very stubby. I don't think it's bad or anything. I just don't reach for clear brow gel, so I'm gonna declutter that. And then lastly, we've got the Winky Lux Unibrow. I don't know if I'd want to name that, but I love the spoolie on this one, but unfortunately, once again, it's a little too dark for me. So I'm gonna declutter this. All right, so I'm keeping all of this, and that's everything I'm getting rid of. I feel like I cut the eyeshadow palettes about in half. This looks like a bigger one, like a bigger pile, because I've got a lot of like mini palettes and singles that I kept as well, but I do think I did a pretty good job of like cutting my collection in half, or at least to about like a third. So I'm really excited about that. I'm proud of that. I think that that was definitely necessary, and now I'm not so overwhelmed every single time I look in that drawer specifically. And then of course I've got my mascaras and eyeliners that I kept, and then those are also in the giveaway pile as well. I'm excited to have that done. Just one more category to go. I'm so excited to have my eye makeup completely decluttered of all the things that I'm just not loving or using, and I'm excited to pass that stuff on to other people who might want it, might love on it a little bit more than I did. So yeah, but I'm just really excited to have gone through my eyeshadows, especially like I said, because it was a lot. There was a lot going on there. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't checked out my most recent declutter episode before this one where I cover face, definitely go do that. And look out for the last one that's coming, which will cover lips. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell down below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And if you feel like checking out more of my stuff, definitely go check out the rest of my channel and see if you like it, and stick around if you do. I'd love to have you be a part of my little family over here. But for now, that is it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!